opera for all families and students. It's Miss T with your composer of the week. Our composer of the week is Joseph Boulogne de Saint-Georges. From the late 1700s, he's an Afro-French fencer, war hero, and composer of the Baroque era.
And as I always say, if it's not Baroque, don't fix it.
In 1745, he's born to a white plantation owner and his wife's slave. And even though he's half black, he's given many of the privileges of white men of the day. This means because his dad was rich, he was able to afford to send him to a boarding school in France where he was able to get an education. While he was there, he became an amazing fencer and a violin virtuoso. Let's listen to a piece by a South African orchestra of one of his violin concertos. Saint-Georges is charming, he's handsome, he's talented, so he rises right to the top in Paris society. That's when he gets put in the pocket of Miss Marie Antoinette. Yes, that Marie Antoinette, wife of Louis XVI. Marie Antoinette adores Saint-Georges. She loves him so much. He's her music teacher, and she thinks that he should be the next director of the Paris Opera House. The Paris Opera House, by the way, is the same one that Phantom of the Opera is based off of. It's where Degas did all the paintings of those ballet dancers. It's a super big deal. During this time, Saint-Georges is not only writing these violin concertos, but he's also writing operas. Let's take a little bit of a listen to a trio from his opera L'Amant Anonyme, or The Anonymous Lover. Unfortunately, since it's 1776, racism is still very much alive in France at this point. The company members of the Paris Opera House say that they will not work under Saint-Georges because he's half black. I think that Saint-Georges would have continued to rise up again and start to overcome some of these barriers with Marie Antoinette behind him, but the French Revolution came. Saint-Georges ends up becoming a war hero. You know, he joins the revolutionaries, he achieves all of these great things in battle. In fact, the book, The Three Musketeers, they say that one of the characters is based off of him for all of his heroics in the Revolutionary War. The last thing I want to talk about with Saint-Georges is that he is so often called the Black Mozart. Here's why this is not true. It shouldn't be compared like this. I don't think it's right. Compared directly, Mozart, alive, 1756 to 1791. Boy genius, absolutely. White guy, you got it. Saint-Georges literally outlived Mozart, okay? He was born 1745 all the way to 1799, born before, died after, all right? Was also a boy genius, okay? But then also was not just a musical genius, but fencing. He was charming, he was sweet, he was handsome. He had one of the most famous book characters based off of him in The Three Musketeers. Not to mention that Saint-Georges' freedoms were vastly limited compared to Mozart's. Ultimately, I think that the only reason that Saint-Georges isn't as famous as Mozart is because we lost a lot of his works during the Revolutionary War. Since he was such good friends with Marie Antoinette, it makes a lot of sense because he probably produced a lot of those works for her, and when they gave her La Guillotine, then they probably also ransacked her kingdom, her castles, and destroyed a lot of her stuff, same way that they did to Princess Anastasia, same way that they did to a lot of art during World War II. This is just one of those things that happens during war that I think is just a really unfortunate side effect. We lose some really amazing art. So there you have it. That's the Chevalier de Saint-Georges. He's amazing. Give him a listen, look him up, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!